All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cloudily Conversations. I'm your host today, Eric Dreschfield. And with me today, we have Reddy Malidi and Surin Kata. Gentlemen, why don't you two introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about each of you. Reddy, let's
Go
start
ahead,
with you.
Suren.
Yeah,
You
go
want
ahead.
to go ahead or okay? Let me go ahead. Hi, this is Reddy Malady. I'm Chief AI Officer and COO at JNR Consulting, and over the last few years, I have generated over $150 million in AI-driven savings. And I'm also published author of two books, and the most recently, 2 weeks ago, I published this book, leading with AI agents, and it became number one on Amazon within 36 hours. Suren?
Fantastic. Go ahead, Surin.
Congratulations again, and
Oh,
thanks
thank
for
you.
being again. So this is Suren Reddy Kata, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Cloudly, and we have a platform built on the no code. Again, config is the no code platform. Just let's driving into the conversation. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's just get rolling. I've got a couple of questions here for you, gentlemen, so let's dive in. Let's talk about the total cost of intelligence first. How would you define it, and how has it changed recently with AI agents going mainstream? What do you think, gentlemen?
Okay, so I'll take the first cut, and after that, ready, so I'll leave it up to you. So
Yeah.
to continue and close it. So again, so in today's world, with the agentic world, what's happening is total cost of ownership in the past we used to call TCO is changing into TCI, total cost of intelligence. Just with the three models is kind of coming out a lot in front of the customers and all. That is the usage based is the first one. Second one is outcome based, and third one is shared ROI model, where the vendors, partners, product companies, and customers kind of share and build that agent, and also charge based on the charge and share based on generated and the value is generated for all the ecosystem. Over to you, Reddy.
Yeah. When we talk about the total cost of intelligence, we're really talking about something much more comprehensive than just the sticker price of implementing AI. This is drawing from my own book. I break this into two major buckets. The first one is the upfront investment. There is this talent, there is development time for architecture and integration, and critically, there is data prep work that many of them they don't even think about it. But for the second bucket is their ongoing operational side. This is where it gets really, really interesting. LLMs and API calls often they represent 60 to 80% of your operational expenses. And add to that the infrastructure costs, your computing resources, there is storage and then continuous maintenance and monitoring. You need to prevent the model drift. You need to look for all of those things. This is part of the cost of the intelligence. But here's what has fundamentally changed with AI agents, Suren and Eric. With AI agents going mainstream, we have shifted from thinking about intelligence as a cost center to recognizing it as a revenue generator. The real transformation is this: organizations can no longer just think about cost reduction. They need to consider the strategic benefits. To your point, Suren, earlier you were saying the competitive advantages these agents they create, the entirely new business models are enabled. So to me, that's all need to be part of this cost of intelligence.
Interesting. Surin, any comments you want to add to that?
I think so. You clearly mentioned about that intelligence is outcome, right? When knowledge plus action is, we all know, right? That's where the results yield. Knowledge is kind of all talk and all that happening in the industry, but when that really actions, the agents are the game changers. I feel in actioning again, we can dream big, right? But again, without
Hmm.
action, dreaming big will become a hallucination. That's what even
Right,
agentic world is kind of going through. So that's
right,
where I think if actioning will become the realistic one that agents can perfect because it kind of don't have emotions, it don't have anything kind of 24 by 7, it can action. So productivity goes up. So that's the thing. Knowledge plus action becomes the value, and that value can be shared and kind of given to customers, and also in the ecosystem shines a lot. Though initially we see a lot of cost initially, but again, over the time, what happens is the investments. We were talking a while back with Mr. Reddy and Eric as well, right? So if there is $100 is the outcome that need to be that is getting generated for just $25, so we are getting 4 times the amplified outcome. So where we are going to invest that 4x what we got from just 1x of investment, right? So it goes again into additional AI investments. Some will go to the customers as kind of lower cost, and third one will be kind of profit sharing to grow the economy, as well as growing the guardrails, making sure we are following the right checks and balances and doing the right things.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Interesting. So that kind of segues right into the second question I wanted to ask. And you hear a lot of talk about the enormous costs of AI. So how do you figure that you can keep the balance in check with keeping costs down and keeping performance high?
Yeah, I'll take that one. Actually, I dedicated a big section in my book, Eric. It's not to tout um, the book itself, but what the cost optimization. Many people don't realize how much it costs. It's I'm just reading right from the book. There is a table 7. There are LLM calls, model usage. There is API management. There is infrastructure. It's right from your strategic selection model to prompt engineering. I discussed how these different AI agents you can, depending on the business problem that you're trying to solve, the architecture you choose, and then what type of prompts you put in those, and how do you cache, how do you do the batching. There are many ways you can optimize the costs, including, for example, and there was a time I was talking to a good friend who has a winery in Napa, up in Northern California. Some of you listening probably it's not it's about an hour or so from San Francisco. But anyway, so I was talking to him. One of the things was a lot of their data was on the cloud, and when the AI agents were trying to access the data, they have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. A lot of costs associated. Then he realized, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Why do I need to keep all this historical data? I can just keep the last 6 months or 1 year of data because I have already trained my AI agent. So I'll just keep it on my local server on prem. And so he said that saved him $30,000 a month cost. So it is just thinking, how do you optimize from LLM calls, from the data storage, from infrastructure? Because it's like you don't want to excessively call the LLMs from the AA agent. That's going to skyrocket your cost. So you need to think through what is the right architecture, what is the right way to store the data, and on and on. And if there are drifts in the models, if the data is changing, you need to have that ongoing observability monitoring to make sure that you are optimizing. Because what happens is if the data drifted and then you are getting the insights from the wrong data sets, it's not inaccurate. Then what happens is users tend to ask the same question, oh, that doesn't make any sense. So you need to make sure that you accounted for all these aspects in the cost side, and that will keep your having the right prompting and having the right architecture and having the right interface and calling it at the right time. That also will optimize the performance of the AI agents.
Interesting. There's a lot to think about and a lot of components for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So thinking along the lines of sales, for example, from both a sales cycle perspective and maybe from the perspective of the sales professionals, what impact do you think AI agents can have on the process of selling something?
I can start and then I'll
I'll
pass
take
it
this
on to
one.
you, Suren. Or go ahead. Maybe there's a little bit of
Sure.
lag. Go ahead, Suren. Why don't you finish your thought?
Yeah, so there is a sales journey, right? Eric, it's a good question, excellent question, right? Sales is the kind of any organization you take that's like front runner. So without sales, you don't have projects, you don't have work, and organizations will cripple. So sales is sales journey. You take it, right? It is optimized way back. Every process is optimized, but now mostly in the last 4 or 5 years, it is automated, and now we are getting into agentic. So every step of sales journey is agentic going forward, if not already. So in that process, what is going to happen is every step is going to generate the outcome ROI in 4x, 8x, 10x kind, basically, where the productivity will be high. So that's where I think we see a lot of results. And again, you take the cycle of lead to cash. So lead to renewal, quote to cash, right? See every step, lead, opportunity, and quote, order, and also collection of the cash, right? Every step is getting optimized, automated, and today it's going to be agentic. So we'll have more outcome everywhere across the journey of the sales cycle. Over to you, Reddy.
Yeah, let me share a powerful case study. This is actually is what I have seen in real implementation, and the most updated version. I had the opportunity to see the production version about 3 weeks ago, and this is if you dealt with the salespeople. I was not never in sales, but I worked at Intel and ADP and Autodesk in executive roles. I have seen these sales representatives, account executives, how much struggle they have understanding the data. This is exactly what BMC software. They had a familiar problem, just like any other companies. Their global sales organization, they were spending 20,000 hours every week on manual forecasting, and that's a lot of hours. Then what they did was they deployed Mickey, a multi-agent system from Aviso. It analyzes the CRM data, email activity, customer sentiment, and pipeline progression, hundreds of signals. Typically, the salespeople, what happens is every company has so many tools and Excel spreadsheets. Everyone has Excel spreadsheets on their laptops, and there is so much maneuvering of these tools they need to do and to understand all these data sources even before they actually get to any intelligence in the sales. So that was all the chaos was addressed by this multi-agentic system. So the transformation was dramatic. This had seen 70% reduction in the time spent understanding the data, and That means they had seen productivity gain in multi-million dollars. And this is the best news. The forecasting accuracy, typically the sales forecasting is until you get to the end of the quarter, it's not that accurate. Maybe it gets to 70%. But with these multi-agentic systems, they were able to get plus or minus 2%. That was unheard of the actual numbers. And the Mickey, the multi-agentic system, was identifying the deal risks proactively and telling the account executives. That was the kind of the change and the insights. That's the impact you could see. This is an actual case. I'm not giving a hypothetical. So the financial impact was huge, multi-million dollar ROI they had seen. But I heard, Suren, you have a couple of agents that your team
Yeah.
built.
Yeah.
I
So
think
again, we strongly Salesforce, that agent force and agents. That's the segue, clean segue. So Eric can demonstrate the two agent recordings we gave. Lack of time, right? We cannot kind of bring in it all. So we have just have 2 minute recordings of two agents. Those are very useful for the Salesforce AEs and any account execs or sales reps of that organization. That is two things are there. Eric, over to you. You can just bring in the presentation and just also play the videos. So just again, I don't
sure.
want to steal the thunder of that explaining in
Yep.
detail.
All right. So here's the first one. Hopefully this will work and the audio will come through as well.
Hello and welcome. Today we are introducing an advanced AI-powered quoting agent designed to streamline the quote management process in Salesforce. This demonstration will showcase how effortlessly a sales rep can create, modify, and manage quotes using simple prompts. Let's begin. I'm currently on the opportunity page. To initiate the quoting process, we must be on an opportunity record. This ensures that the system automatically retrieves the opportunity ID, correctly linking the quote to the relevant deal. To begin, I open Agentforce and enter the command create a quote for this opportunity starting from 12 Feb 2025 for the term of 12 months. The AI responds by requesting the products and their quantity details to add to this quote. Next, we proceed with adding products. I will include the product D100 with quantity 2 and D200 with quantity 4. With these details provided, the Agentforce generates the quote and supplies a link for quick access and review. Upon clicking the link, we are directed to the quote record page. Under the related list, we can see both line items have been successfully added. Furthermore, additional products can be included in the quote. Let's attempt to add R100 with a quantity of 3. We can see the product is successfully added. To check all line items are added to this quote, I entered show all the line items. Now, if modifications are required, the AI makes this process seamless. Asked, for example, to update the quantity of the last line item, I simply input change the quantity of the last line item to 5. The adjustment is applied instantly. We can check this in the related list of this code. If a line item needs to be removed, a simple command such as delete the last line item is sufficient. The item is promptly removed and the updated list reflects the change accordingly. Again, to check the remaining line item, we can open the related list of the code. Discounts can also be applied effortlessly. Let's implement a 10% discount at the quote level. The Agentforce processes this request and applies the discount immediately. We can review the line items and can find the changes correctly reflected in the price field of the line items after the discount. Finally, to obtain an overview of the quote, we enter summarize the quote. The Agentforce then provides a structured recap of the quote and the line items, quantities, prices, and the payment terms. This is how the AI-powered quoting agent facilitates seamless quote management, allowing for quick creation, effortless modifications, real-time discounts, and instant summarization. This solution enhances efficiency and accuracy within Salesforce.
Okay.
That's
That's the first one.
fantastic.
Yep. Sir, and any comments you want to add to that?
No, it's good. Again, the ROI outcomes is there on the slide of the thing that we can talk about it after the other video as well, so that we can talk a little bit more about like real value generated from one or two of our existing customers, and also POCs where we built and what's the outcome, what is the results we have seen. We'll talk about it after playing the other one.
Introducing the Cloudly.
Okay, let's switch to the other one now. Bear with me for 1 second. All right, here we go.
Introducing the Cloudly Margin Optimization Agent, an intelligent assistant built to help sales teams protect deal profitability in real time. The optimization agent continuously evaluates product margins on every quote and guides reps with smarter, data driven recommendations directly in Salesforce. Let's take a look at how it works. Here, I'm working on a customer quote in Salesforce. Before sending this out, I want to be sure I'm not losing margin on any of these products. Let's ask the Cloudly Margin Optimization Agent to help. Agent scans the quote and instantly spots line items where profitability is at risk. Instead of manually checking each product, the agent highlights exactly which ones fall below the approved margin threshold, saving time and preventing revenue leakage. Now that we know where the issue is, we'll simply ask the agent to recommend higher margin alternatives. The agent analyzes pricing and cost data to provide smarter substitute products, ones that maintain competitiveness while improving deal profitability. With a single command, the recommended replacement is applied right here on the quote. Margin Optimization Agent updates the product, recalculates pricing, and adjusts margins automatically. No spreadsheets, no manual edits, no delay. Let's take a look at the results. Cloudly Optimization Agent delivers a clear profit analysis with before and after metrics, showing exactly how much the deal improved, both in dollar value and overall margin percentage. With Cloudly Margin Optimization Agent, sales teams gain real-time pricing intelligence right where they work, helping them protect margins, respond faster, and close more profitable deals. Cloudly Margin Optimization Agent, maximize every deal.
That's fantastic.
Yes. See how easy it is and how smart it is. Kind of, we don't have to sales person. We feel like not to log in into system, even if entering field by field. Kind of, it's like forget about it. That's where I think we always keep it here instead of enter. Never get the needed stats also with this, right? With the just simple commands. Even again, we eventually it comes into voice enablement, right? Once it becomes voice enabled, automatically everything falls in place. You don't have to open login and all that. Just give some commands on through voice, and that will go and do all the modifications to the codes and calculates all the margins and kind of gives the desired result. And also it's very useful for complete sales journey, sales efficiency side of it.
Okay, interesting.
Thank you. Over to you.
Kind of segues pretty well into the final question I wanted to ask, and this comes a little bit from Dreamforce. We heard the term digital agents or digital humans fairly often during Dreamforce, and with the rise of agentic labor markets, how do you see sales and potentially even service personnel productivity being measured and properly compensated with agents in the mix?
You want to go, Suren, first, or you want me to take that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll go ahead again. I touched a little bit early. If we are generating 4x for the effort of 1x, right? So then, like, what is going to happen? Initially, we are feeling a little expensive because some of the companies are building LLMs and again training all these LLMs and getting the data, giving the data from multiple systems and multiple data sources, right? That's going to be a challenge. So that's where a lot of energy investments are going at the moment. But as we progress, as we grow to the next level in a year and a half, like what's going to happen is this 4x what we talked about can be 8x, 10x. So the total cost of intelligence is going to help everybody gets benefited, and also the value companies who are investing heavy onto that in today's world, They may not be seeing too much ROI, but eventually, like when the productivity goes high and kind of value comes out, and that's where they reap the benefits. In today's world, bigger companies might not be thinking. Again, we hear a lot saying that, yeah, I don't know where the ROI, when the ROI, the billions of dollars of investments are going into AI infrastructure, but we are not seeing ROI, right? That will fade away, that will go away, and things will turn around in a matter of a year or year and a half, and things will change, and you see the real gains over the time very soon. That's, yeah, over to you, Reddy.
Yeah, Eric, that was a fascinating question. It's how do you measure humans versus the digital humans, as that's the term. It's everywhere at Dreamforce. It's in my view, you get three dimensions. The first one is your task completion and accuracy, just like humans. Is this thing getting done right? So if you're targeting a completion rate 95% at, depending on the industry and function, that could be, you may be able to live with 95% accuracy, or maybe even 85 in some cases, but in some cases 99.9% is required. Then there is the efficiency and performance angle. This is where it gets very granular, right? For example, response time, they matter enormously. We all know if you are on the web and then if the response is not coming back quickly, 3 seconds, people move on. So the customer experience is compromised, right? And then, so the use cases make a big difference. How long it is taking to respond, and then what is the processing time, and what is the throughput? Because what happens is, in some cases, customer service is an example. Chatbot might be able to manage 1,000 conversations simultaneously, and if you are doing an invoice processing, it doesn't have the same level of urgency, so the throughput becomes critical. And the third dimension is on the reliability. How reliable, for example, if the LLM or the agents are not coming back and they're down, let's say 5% of the time, that's not acceptable. And so you are monitoring the failure recovery capability, the output consistency over time, and performance under load and increased load on the system and agent. So you need to account for all those. And then now the compensation part, how you measure that, it's the agentic labor markets, if you call them, right? They're emerging. And how do you see the fundamental shift from hourly rates to, this is not going to be hourly based. You're going to be looking at this outcome based, because you give the agent something to complete and how accurately it has done, and did it meet the requirements like the customer experience and other things. That's how you're going to be looking at these agents or digital humans, and you appropriately pay them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So just to add to that, again, what I wanted to mention is right now data is sitting in silos, and any enterprise you take it, there are 20 to 30 different systems. Again, bringing all the data into a data lake or data warehouse and all that. Still, the agents are getting built in every platform. If you take it that way, examples I'll give you: Salesforce, ServiceNow, Databricks, Snowflake, right? So everybody has agents. Now in Dreamforce, we have seen that vibe coding is kind of opened as part of agentic platform. Agentic scripts are kind of opened and all that, right? Now what's going to happen, again, what we are seeing in today's world itself, platform agents talking with multiple different platforms and getting the results. Again, agents of Salesforce talking to agents of Snowflake and Databricks and ServiceNow and get the needed results. So, but again, as you mentioned earlier, as we talked about earlier, right? So the cost goes up as soon as we engage other agents. The other agent cost like 4x. It becomes like using 4 consultants example, right? So
Yeah,
it goes into
yeah,
like 4 times the price. So
right.
again, now we have to see how to optimize, right? It becomes like true outcome based, value based, and kind of where we see like how much productivity is done by what agent, how much we used, and where we got this result, how fast we got the result. Based on that, the value generation happens and the cost goes into respect. Again, payment, when it comes to pay, who we had to pay, it goes based on the outcome delivered from those respective agents. So in tomorrow's world, agents that perform faster, better, accurate will win, and kind of those companies who build smart agents will be the game changers and winners, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Suren.
Awesome. Reddy, any additional last comments you want to add to that before we sign off?
Well, we are into a new world of AI and AI agents, and this is real. This is not like 90s when, oh, maybe not. It was not a dream world. This is real. We are seeing the actual cases, business implementing, and then seeing the ROI. Of course, MIT study said it's 90+% are not seeing the value, but we will have to get there, and that's going to happen. It takes time, as with any big shifts. It takes time for companies to realize that. So right now, a lot of investments are going into the infrastructure and building all that, the backbone.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen, thank you both for your time and your thoughts. We appreciate it. I'm sure this conversation has been beneficial to others and rather interesting. And one closing note, Reddy, let's just give your book a quick shout out one more time and let people know where they can find that.
Yeah, they can find it on Amazon, and this is, as I said, it's number one in multiple categories, and it covers strategy, governance, as well as implementation. So any professional wanting to learn those 3 aspects, it brings all of those together.
Awesome. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us today, and keep an eye out for the next Cloudily conversation. Have a great